So unit means one part, just like we said. Um, Label the first part of this fraction bar with the correct unit fraction. So this would be one part out of how many total parts do you think? Yes.
7.
7 parts, because if we count, there's 7 blocks in here, so it's broken up into sevenths. So our unit fraction is 1/7, or 1/7. So does everybody have a 1/7 over that first bar?
Yeah.
Good. Number 2, circle the first 4 parts of the bar. Let's do that first. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Circle that much. Just like I did. Okay? Now that we've done that, the next part of the question says, what fraction of the whole does this circled portion represent? So that is 4 parts out of how many parts?
7.
7, right? So as a fraction, what do you think that is?
4/7.
4/7. So we'll put a 4/7. 4/7. Okay? All right, number 3, it says write your fraction from exercise 2 as the sum of unit fractions. All right, what is a unit fraction again? Yes.
A single fraction.
A single one, a single part, right? So if I want to write the sum, let's circle the word sum also. What does sum mean? Yes.
Problem. No, answer.
The answer to what kind of problem?
Math problem?
A math problem. You're going to have to be more specific than that. What kind of math problem?
Multiplication.
No, that's product. Sum means you're going to do what? Listen to my question before you answer. Sum means you're going to do what? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Add. So the sum means we're going to add. We're going to add what? Unit fractions. Well, we said the unit fractions were 1 part, right? So here's what that's going to look like. Here's 1 part, and I'm going to add. How many of those do I have to add together to get that 4/7?
6 more.
Well, that would be 6/7.
No, because 1 plus 7. 3, 1.
Oh, you mean 1 plus 6 more? If I did that, that would be 7/7, which would be our whole bar. But we don't want that. It says here we want to make a fraction for exercise 2. Well, exercise 2 was this 4/7 number. We need to make 4/7 basically. So how many?
3.
We need 3 more, right? So 1/7 here, 1/7 here, and then another. Well, I'll put it in front so it's easier to read. 1/7 there. So the sum means add, and unit fraction means single parts. So we're adding single parts to make 4/7. That looks good. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of time here to do number 4 on your own. Some of you kind of were thinking that way for number 3. It says represent the whole. In other words, that whole fraction bar as a sum of unit fractions. How would you write that? How many sevenths do you think you would need for that whole bar?
7/7.
7/7. So show me. Double check, make sure you have 7 of those there. Now, on your paper, everybody should have what I have here, 7/7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I want you to do this. Put an equal sign, and then how many sevenths did that make?
7.
7, so put a 7 over a 7. That's kind of hard to see. I should use a different color pen. They don't give you much space. Well, 7/7 is the same as how much? Yes.
1.
1 whole. All right? So put a equals 7/7 equals 1. These are all the same thing. 7/7 equals 1. A million over a million equals 1. A purple dinosaur over a purple dinosaur equals 1. Okay? So here's the thing. This 1 represents one whole what?
The whole bar.
The whole bar. The 1/7 represents what? One part of that bar, right? One equal part. And that's another thing that's important is these have to be equal in size. You know, if I was breaking something into halves, can I do it that way? Say there's 2 halves. I mean, I do that when I'm sharing pizza, right? Here's the pizza. I'll cut out a piece for my son, and then I'll eat the rest and say, there, I took half, you took half, right? Is that right, though?
No.
No, that's not a half at all, right?
No.
He's old enough. He knows better now. He takes the big half. All right. Number 5 says solve the problem below by circling the parts of the fraction bar. Write the appropriate equation below the bar. Here is what an equation is. An equation has an equal sign. So you could do like 3 plus 4 equals 7. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 700 minus 700 equals 0. Those are all equations because they have an equal sign. All right? Now, what this says here, Brett is building a fence around his yard. He has worked on it for 2 weeks so far. He finished 2/8 of it the first week and 3/8 the second week. What fraction of the entire fence has he built? We can show that on the fraction bar. So, first thing I'm going to do is, whatever he did for the first week, I am going to circle that first. So how many am I going to circle for his first week? 2. So circle 2. Then what am I going to do?
Circle 3.
Circle 3 more, right? I can't circle the ones I already circled, but I can go 3 more. All right. And now it says what fraction of the entire fence was built. Well, if you put those together, what do you get?
5/8.
5/8, right? So we need 5/8. So I'm going to write underneath. I'm going to say 2/8 plus 3/8 equals 5/8. Okay? And there's our equation. We're done. We should write our answer on the blank. Always write your final answer on the blank. So what was the total that he built?
5/8.
5/8, right? So up here we'll say 5/8. And I always label it 5/8 of the fence, right? Because we always want to label everything properly. Right? Awesome. Thank you, sir. TJ, we got a solution. That's for you, bud.
Thanks.
You are welcome. All right. The last thing it says here, Nina thinks that because, how do you read that? For, what does that little alligator thing mean? Yeah.
Greater gator and lesser lobster.
Well, it's either greater than or less than, right? But which is this one? Does that say 4 is greater than 6 or 4 is less than 6? How do you read that?
It's incorrect.
Um,
Because the smaller one gets eaten.
Wrong.
No.
Think of it this way. The alligator's really hungry. He always wants the biggest lunch possible. So what's bigger, 4 or 6?
6.
So 6 gets eaten. Yum, yum. All right? Now, here's the thing. When you're reading this left to right, you kind of have to look at this and say, all right, well, does that say 4 is greater than 6 or 4 is less than 6? Obviously, the alligator is eating the big number, which is the correct way. So, I mean, in your head, just think, is 4 less than 6 or is 4 more than 6? It's less than. So you read this, 4 is less than 6. So Nina thinks that because 4 is less than 6, it must also be true that 1/4 is less than 1/6. Explain to Nina why this is incorrect. Why is that? Yes.
Because order to equals the parts are bigger than the 6.
Oh, the parts. When you're dealing with fractions, you have to almost think backwards, because if you take something, I'm going to use pizzas. I like using pizzas for an example. If I cut this into fourths and had one of those fourths, and then I cut something into sixths and had one of those sixths, which one's bigger?
The 4th.
The fourth. But wait a minute, 6 is a bigger number.
It's supposed to be messing with your head.
It's supposed to be messing with your head? Well, I'll tell you right now, the only reason that this gets confusing is what people don't understand is if you have a bigger number on the bottom of a fraction, that means you have that same amount is cut into smaller pieces. I mean, imagine if I took a pizza and cut it into thousandths. I mean, if I cut this into 1,000 pieces, that would be about the size of one piece. Nobody wants that little bit of pizza, right?
No.
So, the bigger the number on the bottom, the smaller the piece. So if you have one of these fourth pieces or one of these sixths, obviously the 1/4 is actually bigger. So now you, and I'm not going to help you with this, I want you to explain that in words on that line. So how can you explain that in words? Good luck.